Nurse Mercy Mary, I treated infection last week, and this week I'm still having some funny discharges and itching on my vagina. What could be the cause? Nurse Mercy Mary, whenever I take antibiotics, I have yeast infection. What could be the cause? Or Nurse Mercy Mary, does antibiotics cause yeast infection? Or Nurse Mercy Mary, does antibiotics makes me develop itching and also cottage cheese discharge? So these are the various from this particular question pop in, and that is what prompted this video about yeast and antibiotics. Good day everyone and welcome back to Nurses Lecture Room YouTube channel. My name is Mercy Mary, popularly known as the nurse with a difference. And today we are going to be talking about antibiotics and yeast infection. First of all, what is antibiotics? Antibiotics, as the name implies, antibiotics. It's a medication that is used to deal with bacteria. It's a medication that is used to deal with bacterial infection. So antibiotics are either killing the bacteria or they are inhibiting the action of the bacteria, okay? Or they are reducing the multiplication of the bacteria. So they have different mechanism of action. That is for antibiotics. So now, what causes yeast infection in the vagina? So in terms of yeast infection, it is caused by an imbalance in the bacteria and the yeast in the vagina. Yes. If you've been following my video regularly, I've explained it on several occasions that in the vagina, we have good bacteria. Yes, there is an amount of good bacteria that is found in the vagina. And there is also a small amount of candida fungus that is found in the vagina, which is yeast. So in your vagina, you have both bacteria and you have yeast. Generally in your vagina, in a healthy vagina, that is what you have. So don't take it too personal that I'm not supposed to have any there. So you have it. So when there is an imbalance in the amount, when there is anything that alters the imbalance of the amount of the good bacteria and also the amount of yeast that is supposed to be there, yeast infection surfaces. So now the question is, how does antibiotics affect the yeast in the vagina? So whenever you take antibiotics, such as the broad spectrum antibiotics, examples of the broad spectrum antibiotics include your penicillin, class of antibiotics known as penicillin, such as your amoxicillin and your ampicillin, and also your tetracycline, such as your doxycycline and your monocycline. Then another class of broad spectrum antibiotics are your fluoroquinones, such as your ciprofloxacin and levofloxacin. So this particular medication, they are broad spectrum antibiotics. And broad spectrum antibiotics have effect on both the gram-positive bacteria and the gram-negative bacteria. So if you are sick and you take the broad spectrum antibiotics, they are going to go and act in the bacteria in the vagina. So they will kill those good bacteria in the vagina. So they will affect the bacteria in the vagina. And when they affect the bacteria in the vagina that is supposed to be there, that is going to cause an imbalance in the bacteria and yeast infection. So when yeast sees that, oh, the good bacteria are dying, the good bacteria are no longer there, yeast starts multiplying, yeast starts increasing. So that is what results in that yeast infection you see after taking antibiotics. I don't know if I'm making sense to you now. So for those that have treated some bacterial infection and now they are complaining, oh, I'm having another infection this week. It could be that you treated those bacterial infection and that antibiotics you took altered the pH of the vagina, altered the balance of the good bacteria and the yeast in the vagina, thereby resulting in that yeast infection you are experiencing today and you are worried about. So for those asking, can antibiotics cause yeast infection? The answer is yes. If you are taking a broad spectrum antibiotics, it can cause yeast infection. Generally, what I advise you as a lady, yes, you can go out and take antibiotics, it's going to work for you. If you're having infection, that is why the invitation of an expert in that field, your doctor, is going to go a long way to help because they know how to combine the drugs to give to you to help. So that is why sometimes most doctors, when they are treating antibiotics, they give you some antifungal medication so that yeast infection will not surface after using the antibiotics. So if you've experienced that, that could be the cause. For those that keep saying, I keep having recurrent infection, when your doctor gives you antibiotics, sometimes you treat it and now you're having yeast infection, don't go and buy that antibiotics again because you only end up worsening the situation. Okay, so that is why it's advised speak with your doctor again, preferably. Or if you are sure that it's a fungal infection or a thrush or like a yeast infection, then get an antifungal medication over the counter. These are sold over the counter and don't need a doctor's prescription. Your thrush medications are sold over the counter. All right. So for those that are asking, yes, it can, and that is the answer. So how are you likely going to prevent it from occurring? From that is the yeast infection from occurring. One, wearing cotton underwear is the best. As a lady, wearing cotton underwear is the best. Do not use scented soap on your vagina. Do not use scented tampons on your vagina. You see some people, they want to smell nice. When they want to get their tampons, they get scented tampons, scented powder, because they want down there to smell. Do not use anything scented. Do not use anything harsh on the vagina because that might kill the good bacteria in the vagina. That might alter the pH of the vagina. Do not doubt. Do not take your hands to wash the vagina. I will always say, no matter what you see on social media, the vagina is safe cleansing. And I also want to let you know that a lot of women experience this yeast infection when they take antibiotics. So it's common, not that it's not common, it is common for it to happen. So this is what I have to share in regards to antibiotics and yeast infection. And I hope you got value for it. Thank you very much for staying tuned. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and also don't forget to share with a friend if you got value. For all my returning subscribers, this is Nurse Messenger saying thank you. Bye and see you in our next video.